Hello everyone and welcome into this super saturated color celebration today. So what I decided to do is combine Ellie Smith Bittersweet glass vases and some of my vintage Bakelite bangle bracelets. And I was trying to do two separate videos and it just wasn't gonna work. So I hope you like the collaboration between vintage glass and also wearable plastics from the late 1940s and into the 1950s. So I don't have too much time today, plus my neighbors are trying to enjoy their backyard and I'm right up against their fence. So I just wanted to show you some of just a very small fraction of some of my Bakelite bracelets. And it was amazing to be able to put these stacks together and store them on these Ellie Smith Bittersweet vases. And that's correct. It's capital L period, capital E period, and then the word Smith. So L.E. Smith glass vases. And this orange color is known as bittersweet. There are so many different designs and patterns. There's the diamond quilted, the smoothie, the hobnail with the three-toed, another smoothie, a panel vase, and then the lobed form. So there's a lot of different Ellie Smith glass vases. And I also wanted to tell you that I've been collecting these now for over, I think it's now over 15 or 16 years. So I've always been ahead of the fads. That's one of the things about my collection that I took great pride in, is staying ahead of the fads, because you don't want to get in late to them because then you spend too much money. I think the most expensive vase on the table was this one, and I think it was $150. And some of these were like $5 and $10 back in the day. Most of you know that I have a much larger collection of Ellie Smith glass. I think I'm up to now 162 vases. So I have quite the problem with it. Also, I wanted to show you why Bakelite matters. And let me show you this rod stock. So I picked this up. I won't say exactly where or when because I'm going to do a video on it. But this is Bakelite rod stock that was never used from one of the closed-out Bakelite factories in Newark, New Jersey. If you hear some things in the background, they are squirrels and acorns falling out of the trees. The acorns are like pelting me right now. So I'm under a huge oak tree in the backyard, and I love nature, but just not while I'm recording. And the squirrels are very busy gathering things for the winter, but check that out. And the reason I show you this is I was able to buy this for literally next to no money, and I sold one just like this for $3,200, and that is correct. Bakelite rod stock that was never used can sometimes bring in tremendous amounts of money. So let me show you another one. That was the red with the marbleized kind of cream color. This is electric blue, and when people say Bakelite does not come in blue, it most certainly does. Absolutely, and this is total proof that it does. Check out where they poured that into the mold. This one I think sells for around, I think this one, I had another one like this. I think I have 4 of these total. I have 3 left, and I think I sold one of these for $1,200. And then the orange one, as you know, I've turned some of these into jewelry. And look at that orange. Isn't that the most amazing? And do you see why people love Bakelite? And there is where I cut off the end. There's where I cut that off and then turn that into a ring. Check that out. Look at the color. Now do you see why I'm seduced by Ellie Smith Bittersweet? So that one, I think I sold 2 of these so far, and one was $800 and one was $700. And let's take a look at the gumdrops on the table, because there are a few concerning videos out there on YouTube, and I'm going to do a full deep dive on these again, because it's very important to talk about reproductions and authentic. And these are 5 authentic gumdrop and random dot Bakelite bangles. And why it matters is because they're still worth thousands of dollars. As of the recording of this video, I did check eBay. There is only one. There's only one of all the ones listed on eBay that is actually authentic and actually worth what they're asking. So as I lean forward, because I don't normally video this way, so this is new to me, and I hope it's working out for all of you. I hope the audio is okay, and I hope the visual is great as well. And a lucite and acrylic bracelet that I had made. And I wore this the other day at the Hartfield Flea Market. And the reason for that is because I love to blend in everywhere I go. And that is sarcasm. So I did make that many, many years ago. My Bakelite ring that I constructed. that I absolutely love. And one of my turquoise rings that's been with me a long time. So let's get over into these. So as Ellie Smith goes, look at the bottom, the way they're constructed. Three-toed on this one, and see that gradation between the kind of peachy yellow into the bright yellow and then into that flaming sun-kissed orange. And look at the top, how it looks like a flame. Look at that top. And these are swung vases. So technically they are swung. As they are molten and still hot, an artisan grabs the bottom of that and then swings this with gravity up and down, and that pulls this top form. Absolutely amazing. And then the Bakelite bangles, and why I show you these are all period, meaning these are all from the late 1940s and into the 1950s. Tropical leaves are some of the favorites, and as long as you get them wide and beautiful colors and all original, still holding their value. On the vase itself, 145 to 165, maybe even now 175, and that one was $10 at a yard sale 10 or 15 years ago. The Bakelite bracelets, they vary between 250 and basically 295 on those for full tilt retail. So I'll set those back out of the way. And doesn't this make sense to have them like this? Here's another Ellie Smith. And I hope you're enjoying this because I didn't know any other way to do this. I needed to be outside today as well. Look at those Bakelite bangles. Absolutely wonderful. I've often loved them. And just make sure with your Bakelite that the polish is good and the luster is good. This one I paid $5 for at the Rogers Flea Market many, many years ago. And look at the color of that. Let me slip all these off. And I want you to see the form, the pure form of that. Isn't that just exciting and gorgeous? And why I have so many, because someone would say, well, why do you have so many? Well, I need something to keep the dust on in my house. I actually have so many because look how they're each unique and each different. I had to. Look at that bottom on this one as well. And a few of these have a Fayette label on the bottom, and that is Fayette glass. And we can get into that when we discuss Ellie Smith specifically. And those are 3 faceted black Bakelite bracelets and 2 celluloid spacers. Again, black Bakelite, a strong 80% of the time, will not test with simichrome polish. And if you need to know how to test Bakelite, I'm going to be doing a YouTube short very, very soon. Also, I have discussed it in my previous Bakelite videos, so please go over and check those out. That's what they're there for. And I did remind someone the other day, guess what? I'm open 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So if you ever have a day when you're stressed out from work or you're stressed out from your family or your friends and you need a break, come on over and I'll keep you company. And I do appreciate you hitting that subscribe button because it continues to help me grow my channel. And after all, this is my full-time job now. So I never thought that that would happen, but I'm so excited to have gained so many subscribers over the last year and a half. So thank you so much for continuing to share me out with all of your friends. This is an amazing, amazing bangle. And this just came in I think this came in about a week and a half ago, and I wanted to tell you so you understand. I don't talk about the width and breadth of the collection. Look at the pink on that one, pink and orange, like a almost like that Superman sherbet that we used to eat when we were kids. Remember that? You know, way back in the day. I wonder if they still make that. Anyways, a pillow carved version in blue and green. And then a whole bunch of brown and mottled tortoise, and I really loved those. But this one was just an outstanding version. Look how thick-walled that is. Absolutely exceptional. I think on that one you could ask 165, 175 and get it all day long. The pillow carve normally goes for around 95 to 125, but since it's blue and green and slightly more unusual, I would say probably a little bit more, maybe like 110, 120. And I have noticed the prices are continuing to go up on Bakelite. I'm glad to see that, because they used to be really high. These are just wonderful. Look at the width of those and that egg yolk color. I really, really love these. And if you're seeing me in the background, I have my hair piled up on my head like Amy Winehouse. This is pink, fluorescent pink Bakelite, and that is completely correct. That is absolutely Bakelite. And then look at the end of the day one with that kind of mottled orange on the yellow. Absolutely love those cinnamon colored ones as well. What a trio. And then the vase. How can you not love these? Look at the way that looks, like a flame frozen in time. and that paneled surface all the way around. These are very large. I should tell you some of the sizes, but this is well over, this one's around 20, I would say around 27 inch. So these are very, very large. And then, of course, the one in the center, this one came in from the Don Scott Antique Show. And Jeremy bought me this one for $150. And check that out. Now, this one was painted blue. And I don't know why someone painted that. They spray painted that a periwinkle blue. And there is some of the paint down in that surface. And check that out, though. Is that not one of the coolest Ellie Smith vases? Now, of this size, I think I have over 30 that are taller than this. And it's a very large size, very hard to find. And back in the day, you know, I wasn't spending much. I really wasn't. So, and thank you for ignoring the mosquito bite on my arm. I'm still trying to not scratch that bite. It's driving me absolutely crazy. But that's what the summer in Ohio will give you if you're out doing videos like this in your backyard. Listen to the crickets. See? I need to take that moment every once in a while because I get so amped up when I'm around these things. And thank you for allowing me to do that. Really appreciate it. Look at that top, how the top is divided and that gradation of color. Really exceptional. That bright orange into that kind of peach colored and then down into that fluorescent yellow. I so wish I could be farther away in the video, but it's just not going to happen. And I wanted to do this video many months ago, and I think why I couldn't do it is because I couldn't decide what vases to bring on, and then I couldn't decide what bangles to bring on. And of the vases, this is probably, like I said, 1/10 of the total. There's probably even more than that, but 1/10 of the total. And then of the bracelet collection, this is probably 1/20th, 1/20th of the total. So I've been at this a long time, many, many decades in the making. And I do have that constant joke that when I say people that don't understand Bakelite, I don't understand them. And that is just a joke. Look at the carving on the leaves and that deep rope twist with that resin wash. I've always loved the deep carved ones. And I didn't put too many of those out. The 6-dot one with the orange and cream, this one just came in. But of the dotted bracelets, I think I have almost every variation now, and that was quite the accomplishment. It took 28 years to get the reverse of every dotted bracelet, so that's quite the accomplishment, and I'll be bringing those on. I love that kind of cable carved one. Look how that looks like overlapping links, and it's just a solid bangle, and again, the vase that it's on. Absolutely exquisite and wonderful. I think on that one, I think these are now going for like $265 to $275. When people ask me what's going to happen with the market on such things, they're always going to be collectibles, meaning they were mass produced, and there are a finite amount in the world. So if the demand continues to rise, the supply will continue to dwindle, and then therefore that would increase the price. I've seen this for over now 31 years in the business, and I wish I could tell you some of the auction stories from back in the day of when I used to go to auctions and some of the prices and the ebb and flow of what's happened. This is not Bakelite. You'll have to excuse that. So this one made it into the video by mistake, but isn't this exceptional? It's from the late 1970s. I'll get into that one in another video, and that is not Sobral. A lot of people say immediately, oh, that's Sobral. No, it's not. This one's not. We'll get into that, though. It's French, and we'll get into this one in another video, but look at these. I always loved the kind of three-sided in yellow and orange, and then look at those stackers in that kind of, I believe, an octagon in green. Love them. And look at that again, that bright pink on that fluorescent orange body, undulating carved zigzag, forever positive and beautiful and whimsical and fabulous. But I thought that made sense on that specific vase. And I love to look at these things. To me, they're much so like sculpture. These green ones, I said absolutely yes to that set of faceted green spaced with that deep wall. And don't you just love the color? I think that's the thing that I was most seduced by. Seems like a perpetual sunshine. Seems like always green grass, and so positive and beautiful. I love the set of 3 marbleized. And then check out the Ellie Smith vase again. The 3-toed version, I would say on this specific one, you're probably still in the $165 to $175. This one was $20, and I bought that one for $20 many, many moons ago. Again, before the fad happened, and I've often tried to say, stay ahead of the curve. These are all bangles that I either rescued or constructed. You've seen these before, but I did the sterling silver hinges. This bangle was completely broken. Someone had unfortunately dropped it on the floor, and there was a crack that ran all the way through it, and I manufactured those sterling silver rivets and sterling silver hinges. Sometimes these bangles are very difficult to get on. So for those people, I have a tendency to put hinges on them if they are broken. And then I drilled through there, as you can see, a craft issue, to make sure that it's well crafted. Solid sterling silver. The spider bracelet was interesting. It was heavily crazed. There's a heavily crazed surface that runs through there. So that's a sickness in the plastic. And I don't store any other apple juice next to this. That is apple juice Bakelite. Then I reverse carved those spiders because it looked like a web to me. And then I put on the sterling silver hinge and I oxidized that so that it looked old and period. This one was completely manufactured by me and another company in Ohio. Those are orange Bakelite rods and then encased in lucite, and those were very expensive when I had these made. I only had 3 of these made, and it was cost prohibitive, so I stopped. This one laminated together. I had spacers that I glued together and then I put the hinge on. That was my first one that I ever did. That was my first attempt with my sterling silver hinges. And then the apple juice one, and you'll see right here, this was cracked all the way through. And if you look close there, I put 2 bars of silver in there into the bracelet to fix the bracelet. Then I cut it in half because it was already completely ruined. And that's apple juice and carved, and it was missing some of the little carving. Didn't bother me because that was the stack that I chose to wear. Another plastic that I will discuss in the future, people call these end of the day Bakelite. As I've talked about before, these are not Bakelite, these are Oshi, and you can pronounce it several different ways, but people will say Iro or Oshi. And it's definitely a very interesting lacquer that was produced in Japan. And these are incredible versions, incredibly difficult to find. Look at that pink kind of camo with that punch of mustard yellow, grass green, and lime green. And look at that one. It almost looked like it had a serpent's eye. You can see so many beautiful things in these. And look at that one. Absolutely exceptional in its color and luster. Why these test positive for Bakelite with Simichrome is because they do have a natural occurring phenolic, which is phenol, which is out of, I believe, the tree that the sap is gathered from. And this goes all the way through the, quote, lacquer as well. So that's many, many layers of lacquer that then's folded, dried, cured, and then folded and dried and cured over and over and over. Such bangles back in the day were running very inexpensive, $125 to $150. Now they're in the $200 to $300 range, and they're sure to go up. So be on the lookout for these because they're incredibly rare. I think I have 9 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is one that is still on the dresser upstairs. So, absolutely exceptional. But I wanted to talk about those because the value is going to go up. And again, completely misidentified as camo Bakelite. It is not. So all I ask is that you be careful with what you purchase. And I guess the other videos that were concerning to me were because if you say something is authentic and it's not, or you say something is genuine Bakelite and vintage, what if it's none of the 3? You're actually spending way too much money, and it's highly concerning if you have a content creator, with the thumbnail looking confused with their mouth open, pointing at an ending eBay result and going, that's a great result. If it's not, don't say it because it's not. Don't mislead people. And if you're not sure, I've often said, and I've tried to say it kindly without seeming upset, if you're not sure, just stay out of the game. I've been in the game for 30 years, and I want to make sure that people are not making mistakes by investing in something that is a fake. That's all. It's just that simple. So I hope that that was okay to say, and I tried to say it with the most kindness and grace that I could muster. This is incredible for an Ellie Smith. Look at that peach into that orange, and then goes into that bright yellow, and then into that flaming orange, and that unusual shaped top. Just wonderful. In its entirety, the collection is incredible and such a visual treat. So much so that I actually painted one of my rooms fluorescent purple so that I could house this color saturation. I know I'm completely devoted to my collections. So before I get hit with another acorn, I'm going to call it and say thank you so much for your time and your attention in my videos. Oh, and I almost forgot. Please, please, please understand how I got to be so smart. I didn't Google Lens. I didn't look things up. Watch this. A parade of books. 1. Now, don't rush out and buy these, because let me go over the ones that work and the ones that didn't for me. 2. Are you still watching? 3. Here we go. As the whole bag falls over. 3. I'm not done just yet, because someone had asked me, well, if you didn't use Google Lens and AI, I said it wasn't around when I first started. The Bakelite book. What? So that's number 4. And then let's look at this one. Oh yeah, let's talk about art plastic and the use in everything you could think of throughout the home. Incredible, incredible to find these things today. That's number 5. And then let's take a look at the cover of one of the magazines. Let's see here. I wanted to find the article on the inside that discussed a wonderful Bakelite collection. And you all know I'm not a name dropper, but I was friends with Herbie and Sally Loeb. And there they are. There is Sally and there's Herbie, and look at their Bakelite collection. And yes, this is exactly what their house looked like. I went to their home in Highland Park and just past Chicago. And I visited Sally and Herbie for 2 days. And boy, I became very good friends with her. And her collection was just amazing. So that made it into this incredible art and antiques book in, this was March of 2001. And then a few more books. You know what I'll do? I'm going to do 3 more books. There's this one. Yep, absolutely. And like I said, I'll go over these eventually so I can tell you which ones I would recommend. Look how long that's been with me. You know, look how dirty my hands were. Boy, I was a dirty youngster. And then this one, The Best of Bakelite. And that is really just an outstanding, very, very, very thorough book on why Bakelite was important, what to look for. Absolutely an awesome book. And then this one, the Connoisseur magazine. And this is basically what put Bakelite on the map, per se, was the cover of this. This was 1985, and Connoisseur magazine. And look at the cover. Absolutely stunning cover of this magazine. Incredible. And then it went in to discuss the plastic on the inside of this. Isn't that fantastic? So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something every time you check in with me. And again, thank you for letting me share a very small portion of the Ellie Smith Bittersweet collection, and just a fraction, the tip of the iceberg of my Bakelite bangles. And I just so appreciate your time and your attention. If you feel like anyone else out there could use my information, or you feel that you would like to share the video out, please do so, because it continues to grow my channel. And again, subscribers and the numbers are up and through the roof, and it feels so good to do it naturally. It feels so good to be appreciated. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for your time and your attention in my videos. It's time to jet. Further videos coming on both Bakelite and Ellie Smith Bittersweet. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Go forth with peace and kindness. If you have any other ideas for videos, please leave in the comment section below. I love you, because I absolutely 100% do.